Okay, the time response analysis. So what is mean by this generally? So whatever the output of system is, whatever the output response is, we analyze that output response with respect to time. Okay. So for example, if you take okay, so in the first unit I have given you the example of elevator, right? So if there is a elevator system, right? So there are different buttons, 1, 2, 3. So as you press button 1, okay, and you are at floor 0, so that elevator will take some time to reach at floor 1, right? Okay, and after that, if no button is pressed again, that elevator will be at that floor only. Okay, so at steady state. So in that particular lecture I have told you that this particular part of response with respect to time, elevator response with respect to time, is called as a transient response. And after that elevator reach at floor 1, uh, so that is a steady state of that elevator. So this is a steady state response of the system. So all these systems are real-time systems, right? Practical systems. So this time response analysis is very important. So here you can see in this particular time, just a minute. So in this particular time response graph, okay, the output response with respect to time. So this part is called as a transient response, and after that, this part is called as a steady state response. Okay. So when transient dies out, the whatever the response remaining is called as a steady state response. So if we talk about the electrical system or electronic system or any digital system, we'll just take an example of it. Uh, just a minute. Okay. So if there is one clock generator, so this is a clock generator, and I have applied this clock generator output to inverter. Okay, so ideally you may have seen the clock pulse. So this clock generator gives the clock pulse to this inverter as an input. Okay, and you observe the inverter output. So ideally we have seen the clock pulse, ideal clock pulse is like this. Okay, so within no time, signal shift from 0 to VDD. If you consider this voltage as a VDD, so within no time, signal shift from 0 to VDD, right? In ideal case. But in practical case, it takes some time to shift from 0 to VDD, right? So this time is called as a rise time. And this time is called as a fall time. Okay. So whatever this portion you are saying, that is for rise time and fall time. So that is also a transient response. Okay. So if this is a inverter, right? This is a inverter, right? So if this is a CMOS inverter, if I say, so it is made up of PMOS and NMOS, right? MOSFETs. So when I apply this particular clock pulse, which is having finite rise time and finite fall time, so if this is a 0, this is a VDD hold. So this will be VDD by 2, okay? And this duration, if I say rise time duration, if this is a 1 millisecond, right? Okay. So do you know the different operating regions of the MOSFET? Can anyone state different operating regions of the MOSFET? So there will be a saturation region, right? Then cutoff region, and then triode region, right? Or linear region. So according to the input voltage, this particular inverter, okay, whatever the transistor present in this particular inverter, will shift their operating regions, okay, according to this voltage range, because we are applying 0, then less than VDD by 2, VDD by 2, then VDD, because of this finite rise time, okay, because of this transient state, or it is also called as a transient response. Then after some time, after rise time, here you can see signal is stable at VDD. Okay, so this thing is called as a steady state thing. If we talk about this particular pulse, so this rise time we can talk about a transient, and this thing is we can talk about a steady state, like that way. Okay, so in particular electronic system or digital system, because of this finite rise time and finite fall time, if this signal propagate over the large network of inverter, this waveform will get distorted. Okay, so while designing this particular inverter, or while designing this particular clock generator, we need to do this type of time response analysis, so that signal will not get distorted as this signal propagate to different inverter network. Okay, so in chip designing, they use this inverter chain to provide the clock to the chip. Okay, to provide clock to the chip. So this kind of time response analysis is very important in IC design also. Okay, so this is one of the example of the time response analysis. So as we have seen, this time response analysis of this particular C of t is divided into transient response and steady state response. So CTR of t is a transient response and CSS of t is a steady state response. So if I form the definition of these two responses, so that will be like, similarly, this transient, this rise time and fall time also affect on the power dissipation of the chip, okay? Because transistor gets switched from different regions, okay? Saturation, cutoff, triode, like that way. So if you study that thing, you will understand. Just I want to give you example here, so I have given that. So first transient response. So as the time progresses, this particular response becomes 0. Okay, it dies out after certain time. Similar in this case, you can see it take 1 millisecond from 0 to VDD state. Okay, so that thing is transient state. Similarly, if certain system take certain time to respond, for example, if you take an audio system, okay, so when you switch on your system, right, it will take certain time to initialize it, right? So that is also called as the transient time of the system. So, that is a finite time, right? After that particular time, your transient response becomes 0. So here you can see. So as a t progresses, after a certain time, the transient response will become 0. And when transient response becomes 0, whatever the response remain of the system is called as a steady state response. Okay. So this is the main thing here, transient response and steady state response. Now let us consider one example here. So you will understand transient and steady state terms clearly. So in this example, you have to find the transient and steady state terms in the given time response. So can anyone tell me which are the transient terms and which are the steady state terms? Anyone? So what is the transient response condition? As a t tends to infinity, that response will become 0, right? So which are the transient terms and which are the steady state terms in this given time response?
All exponential terms are transient response.
Yes. So these are the transient terms. Okay. So if you could draw this particular signal. Okay, as t tends to infinity, this response will die out to 0, right? Similarly, if you draw this particular signal, so that will be complex exponential. Okay. So here you can see as t tends to infinity, response becomes 0. And these are the steady state terms, right? Response remains after transient get dies out, right? Okay. So if we see the S domain, what will be the pole location for this? Can anyone tell me? What will be the S domain pole locations? Okay, what is the pole location for this particular signal? This step signal. What is the pole location for this particular signal in S domain? What is the Laplace transform of 10? Ten u of t. What is the Laplace transform of 10 u of t? Anyone? Okay, so for this particular signal, the LT will be 10 by S, right? So what is the pole location? What is mean by pole? Denominator root, right? No one is responding. Are you following? So this is the pole location for this particular signal. Now what is the Laplace transform of this? So what will be the pole location for this 2 sine 2t? 2 sine 2t. What will be the pole location? Right? Similarly for that third term, 3 cos 3t. Can anyone reply me what is mean by pole? Root of denominator, right? Okay. So here you can.
Transfer function is infinity.
Right. Now here you can see, as you observe that what is the similarity in steady state terms if we see the S domain, the pole locations. What is the similarity between the steady state terms? Okay, we will draw the pole location for transient terms now. So first term is so what is the pole location here? So 5 into a raised second term. Okay. Last term is this e raised to minus 6t cos t. Now you tell me what conclusion you can draw here. If you see the pole location of the transient terms and pole location of the steady state terms. So these three are the transient terms, right? And these three are the steady state terms. So what observation can you make here? Take it. So note. So if the poles of the system lies on only imaginary axis, so that will give us steady state terms. Transient term. Okay, so this is a one note here. So like this way you can identify the steady state term and transient term. Okay, so let us see some basics before going into the analysis of first order system and second order system. Okay, so as we have studied what is mean by transfer function, so here you can see the standard form of transfer function in terms of time constant form. It is also called as a time constant form. Okay, so here you can see g of s is equal to k into 1 plus s of tau 1 into 1 plus s of tau 2 upon s raised to n 1 plus s of tau a into 1 plus s of tau b, right? So from this, in this equation, the k and tau are called the system parameters. Okay, these are the system parameters where k is a system gain and tau is a system time constant. Okay, and then n is showing the it is a type n system. Okay, type means generally a number of integrator present in that particular system. Okay, so that is one general thing. So type n system where n defines the type of the system. So how to identify type and order of the system? Okay, so generally type means number of poles at the origin, and order means total number of poles in the S-plane. Okay, so here you can see the type is n in this particular transfer function of this system. System's type is n. So let us consider one example. So you will get the idea about how to find out the system gain, type and order of the system. Okay. So here you can see they have given one transfer function. So this particular transfer function is not in time constant form, and they have asked that you calculate the system gain, type and order of the system. So first make this transfer function into a time constant form. Just a minute. Okay, so we will make this particular transfer function into time constant form. So I will take 5 outside. And here I will make 2 and 10 outside. Okay, so now this is equation is in time constant form, right? Uh, okay, so here you can see this particular term 6.25 is a k, that is a system gain, right? So if you see this particular equation, here you can see the k is a system gain, right? So here system gain is 6.25. Okay, and type is n, right? Number of poles at origin. So how many poles at origin? S cube, right? So number of poles at origin is 3. So type of a system is 3. And now you tell me the order of the system. Anyone? What is the order of system here?
2.
How order of system 2?
3.
No, that is order means number of poles in the S domain, right? And what is mean by poles? Roots of denominator, right? Okay. So how many roots are there here? 3 plus 2 plus 1 now. So there will be 6. So order of the system will be 6. Number of poles in the S domain. Okay. So roots of the denominator are poles and roots of the numerator are 0. Okay. So here number of poles in the S domain are 6. So order of the system is 6 and type of the system is 3. What is mean by type? Number of poles at the origin. And here you can see that constant is a system gain. Okay. So like this way you can find out the system gain, type and order. Okay. So let us consider have you understood? Anyone has any doubt here, they can ask. If anyone has any doubt, they can ask. Okay. Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you can see the example number 2. Find the type and order to the given closed loop transfer function of unity feedback system. So what is meant by unity feedback system? In that system, H of S is equal to 1, right? Unity feedback factor is 1. And the closed loop transfer function is given. Okay, so what is a closed loop transfer function? And they haven't mentioned it is a positive feedback or negative feedback system. So when they don't mention anything, just they have given here, right? If the in all terms are positive terms here, right? In terms of stability, we will see that. But time being, you just see you need to find out the type and order of the system for this particular closed loop transfer function of unity feedback system. Okay, so what is the type? Anyone can reply. What is the type for this system?
One.
How the type will be one?
5.
No, you haven't understood the concept, I think. Here you can see S cube, right? So there are 3 poles at origin. If you draw the S domain here for this particular thing, so there will be the 3 poles at origin, right? And how many poles in the S domain? So here 3 poles at origin, 2 poles at -2, okay, and 1 pole at -10, right? So now here this location poles shows the type of the system, okay? So if there is a square term in the system, in the poles, so that type of the system will be 2, right? If S cube is there, type of the system will be 3, because 3 poles at origin, 2 poles at origin, okay? And what is the order? How many number of poles present in the S domain? So now if we consider this particular equation, right? So there are 3 poles at origin, 2 poles at -2, and 1 pole at -10. Na? So 3 plus 2 plus 1. So order will be 6. Okay. So like this way you need to identify. Have you understood? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. No issue. Have you understood this topic? Have you understood this point?
Yes, sir.
Now you tell me what is the type and order of this system. What is the type here?
15.
Sorry, type is 0.
Okay. And what is the order?
5.
5. Okay. But one main catch is here. Okay. When they mention that this is a closed loop transfer function, we always find type, order, and system gain of the system for the open loop transfer function. Okay. But here they have given the closed loop transfer function. So our system is like, okay, if this is a system, G. Okay. So now for this particular system, what is a closed loop transfer function? C of S upon R of S, right? So that is G of S upon 1 plus anyone, G of S into H of S. That is a closed loop transfer function, okay? Now, by looking at closed loop transfer function, you can't find the type and order of the system, okay? Even the system gain. So for that purpose, you will require open loop transfer function. So what is the open loop transfer function in this? We have studied this point. What is the open loop transfer function? Open loop transfer function means, now here I am removing this particular feedback, okay? Open loop. Now loop is open. Okay, and we find out the ratio of what? B of S upon E of S. This is an open loop transfer function. So what is the open loop transfer function? G of S into H of S. Okay, so this is open loop transfer function, OLTF. Okay, so now this particular transfer function in which form? This form, na? CLTF. So we need to convert this form into this form. So how to convert it? So they have given that this is a unity feedback system. So H of S is 1. So this CLTF will be like G of S upon 1 plus G of S, right? Okay. And this OLTF or open loop transfer function will be like G of S only, because H of S is 1 only, right? So how you can obtain G of S from this particular CLTF? Now this is, here I will just take this equation. Here you can see. Now this is of a form G upon 1 plus G, right? Because H of S is 1. Now I want to convert this into open loop transfer function. So what I will do, I will just subtract the numerator from the denominator, right? So that will give me this, the open loop transfer function, right? I will just subtract the numerator from the denominator. Okay, so here just do like that. That is a shortcut to find out this particular open loop transfer function. So open loop transfer function will be 2s plus 5 upon s raised to 5 7s square 2s plus 5 minus 2s minus 5. So these two terms will be get cancelled. Okay. Six is 7s square. S square, no? Okay. Now for this system, you can find the type and order. Very important thing. Okay. For open loop transfer function only, we can find out type and order of the system. Because when you connect that system with feedback, so that particular closed loop transfer function is having the effect of feedback on it, right? Okay. So what is the type here now? What is the type of system now?
Sorry, type is 2, order is 5.
Type is 2, order is 5, right? Number of poles at origin is 2. And total number of poles in the S domain, that will be 3 plus 2. Okay, so this so here what note you can mention? To find out the type and order of the system, open loop transfer function is required. Okay, so this is important concept. Okay, generally in GATE exam, in any competitive exam, they directly give CLTF and ask you to find out type and order of the system. Here you can mistakenly find out that type is 0 and order is 5. Don't do like that. Okay. So first convert that into open loop transfer function. So let us see the next concept here, characteristics equation. Okay. So this is a particular closed loop transfer function K1. So just a minute, this app is giving the problem today. Okay, so now this is a closed loop transfer function. So if I want to, as we have seen that, what is a impulse response? What is a Laplace transform of impulse signal? What is the Laplace transform of impulse signal? If R of t, here R of t input is del of t. Laplace transform of impulse is 1, right? So R of s is equal to 1. Right. And as we have seen, when we apply the impulse signal to the system, at the output side, we get impulse response of the system, right? Okay, whatever. So impulse response represent that particular system. So here, I want to find the impulse response of this particular system. So I have applied R of t is equal to del of t. So R of s is equal to 1. So C of s will be s of minus t, s of minus 10, s plus 1, s plus 5. Okay. So if you just take a partial fraction of it, and if you take an inverse Laplace transform here, so that will be C of t k1 e raised to minus t plus k2 e raised to, all are causal systems, right? So u of t is implied only, the unit step response, all are right-handed signals. Okay, so if you see here the output response, so if I just draw it, so if I draw this, okay, k1 into e raised to minus t plus okay, so what will be the resultant signal? This is output, right? Okay. So now in this system, in this particular system, you tell me how many zeros are there?
1.
Which is a 0? 0
10.
is 10, right? How many poles are there? 2. Minus 1 and minus 5, right? Okay. And if you observe the system response is mainly depend on poles. Here you can see e raised to minus t and e raised to minus 5t. So system response is mainly depend on poles of the system, right? Not on zeros. Okay. So whatever the output response you will get, that totally mainly depends on pole of the system. So pole decides the characteristics of the system. For any system characteristics is defined by system poles. Okay. So 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 that particular thing is defined by the characteristic equation. Just make a space here. Just a minute, this app is giving some problem today. Okay, ठीक है. So here I can say that okay. So if you consider the closed loop transfer function for a system, that will be like this, right? General form of that. And the root of this particular equation is called as a poles, right? Okay. So this equation is called as a characteristics equation because pole determines the characteristics of the system. Okay. So okay, so this equation is a characteristic equation. Okay. So this is an important concept, characteristic equation of the system. Okay. Have you understood? ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
Now we will see the standard test inputs. So generally what happens, all the real-time signal, even if you take a temperature or any real-time quantity, right? So you can't graphically that is not like a totally deterministic signal, right? Okay, so that is not a standard signal. Now whatever the system we need to do the analysis of, okay, the time response analysis. For that particular systems, we require some deterministic signals or standard test inputs so that we can test our systems, right? Okay. To do that particular analysis, there are different standard test inputs like a step function, ramp function, parabolic function, impulse, sinusoidal. Okay. So these functions can be used to test our systems, any system, any control system. So as you already familiar with this thing and we have taken this in first unit also. So I will just revise it. So you will just get an idea of it. So step function is just you help me. So what is a step function? What is a mathematical equation of step function? So R of t will be and what is the unit step when a is equal to 1? That will be u of t 1. Okay. Right. And unit step when amplitude is 1. And what is the Laplace transform of it for unit step? What is the Laplace transform of unit step?
1 by s.
1 by s.
Okay.
1.
Then ramp function. Mute
1
your
by
mic.
s square.
Mute your mic. Okay. So okay, and then unit ramp is then a is equal to 1, right? Okay, so just I will draw it. Okay, when slope is 1, so Laplace transform of it will be 1 by a square. Okay. Then parabolic function. So anyone help me? What is a parabolic function? Okay. Okay, just then there is a unit parabolic, right? So that will be okay. So now you tell me what is the Laplace transform here? What is the Laplace transform of
2
unit
by
parabolic?
s. 2 by s cube.
नहीं. Check 1 upon s cube. Okay. T square by 2, no? Then there is unit impulse function. So here we have seen how to there is a standard formula also, and you can apply a differentiation property also, differentiation in S domain for particular ramp signal LT. Okay, so impulse and the Laplace transform of del of t will be 1. Then there is a sinusoidal function. Tell me the Laplace transform.
A upon A square plus A square.
अरे sin omega t ना.
Omega upon S square plus omega square into A.
Okay.